You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. We provide our listeners with information from business professionals to bring solutions to your daily life and local charities to provide you with the opportunity to give back to your community as well. Now in studio, we have Julio. He has been working with at-risk and homeless youth population for the last 8 years in different capacities. Currently, Julio is in the public relations marketing manager position for Cocoon House, a local nonprofit serving at-risk and homeless youth and their families in Snohomish County. He is a board member for the Everett Diversity Board, a board member with the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance, and a commissioner at the Linwood Health and Human Services Commission. He graduated from Western Washington University with a public relations and journalism degree in 2009, and he now lives in Lake Stevens with his wife. Welcome, Julio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome. Glad to have you on the show.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Cocoon House.
Yeah, so Cocoon House is a local nonprofit that serves at-risk and homeless youth and their families. The youth we serve are between the ages of 12 to 24, and we provide outreach, housing, and prevention services to these individuals. We've been around for over 25 years now,
Wow.
and operate 5 different facilities in Snohomish County, although we do serve quite a bit of youth that come from outside of the county.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how do you guys find the youth that you serve?
We do a lot of outreach. So we do have an outreach program that we operate in Snohomish County. It starts off through a one-stop shop. It's called our U-Turn Drop-In Center.
Mm-hmm.
And that drop-in center is a low-barrier drop-in center, which means that any youth ages 12 to 24 can go in and get a warm meal to eat, get some clothes, some hygiene packs. We have shower facilities, laundry facilities that they could use. And really, if they just want to go in and get a warm meal and leave, they're more than welcome to do that. We're just that door that never closes for those youth. So sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to develop trust and relationship with these youth, especially if they've been, homeless for a few years. They've been let down by so many other systems, by possibly their families and friends. So this outreach drop-in center allows us to kind of build that trust and relationship with them that we need in order for us to be able to provide services to them.
I was just wondering, so how is the homelessness with youth? Is it going down? Is it going up? I mean, is this a...
Unfortunately, it's rising. Over the last few years, we've seen a steady increase in homeless youth. In 2016, Snohomish County school districts reported over 3,200 homeless students. This year, the last year, it went up to 3,700 homeless students. Now, that's already a pretty big number for, these are teenagers that are homeless out on the streets in our communities. But Cocoon House works with hundreds of other youth each year that haven't been to school in a couple of years. So we're working with 16, 17-year-olds who haven't been to school in 2 or 3 years, and they weren't even counted in that number.
Wow.
So the need is definitely there. We do, a lot of street outreach as well. So we have a team of outreach members that will go out to every single community and city in Snohomish County with backpacks full of clothes, hygiene packs, and information on Cocoon House. And we go to what we call hotspots. So, skate parks, under bridges, under certain grocery stores, and we make contact with these youth. And we touch about 16,000, we make contact with about 16,000 youth each year.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So of all those students that are homeless, I mean, they're homeless, but they're still attending high school?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just living on the streets, or?
Yes. So, we get clients all the time that, have been going to school but have been sleeping in cars or motels. Youth homelessness is very difficult to identify. It's not like the typical homeless adult. They're not wearing the typical homeless attire. They're not hanging out in the typical homeless areas. Youth homeless usually couch surf a lot. So from family to family, they'll be couch surfing. They stay in cars or hotel rooms.
Okay.
So, I think the stat is up to like 75% of homeless students end up dropping out of high school because, they're not worried about really doing homework. They're more worried about where they're going to sleep that night or what they're going to eat.
Right.
So we do see a lot of youth who unfortunately have to drop out of school in order to, survive and meet their basic needs first.
Wow.
So I kind of hear you saying that they're harder to identify because maybe they're kind of put together, right? They might not look dress-wise and so forth that much different than any other student in school.
Exactly. They're still going to school. They're still teenagers, so they want to look and act just like their peers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very difficult situation for them to be in. You know, the average age a teen becomes homeless is 14 and a half.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, imagine yourself as a 14 and a half year old having to be out on the street. You get very desperate and you're very susceptible to you know, somebody's going to try and sexually exploit you, which we see, unfortunately, quite often. Gang members will try to approach you. And 80% of the youth that are doing drugs and alcohol, they don't start until after they've already been homeless. And it's just a way for them to cope with the trauma that they're experiencing out on the streets. It might just be a way for them to cope with them being cold.
Wow. So what's causing these kids to be homeless? What's like the driving factor?
So we serve approximately 2,500 youth each year. Every youth has their own story, their own trauma that they go through that cause them to be homeless. The majority of the youth that we serve, I think, is from family dysfunction. You know, a lot of the community sometimes think that the homeless youth are homeless because they're drug addicts or they're gang members or they're criminals, right? But for the most part, the vast majority of the youth that Cocoon House serves, they're good kids. They're just maybe escaping from sexual abuse in the home. They're escaping domestic violence, or their family becomes homeless, which is another. You know, low-income housing has been very difficult to find for a lot of families. A lot of families are a paycheck away from not being able to pay their mortgage or pay their rent and end up on the street together. And when a family becomes homeless, the teen becomes homeless. And there's not a whole lot of organizations that are able to house the family and a teenager in the same location. So a lot of the times, separation of the family has to happen in order for everybody to be housed.
Wow, that's so
That's
heart-wrenching. I mean, you're already in this heart-wrenching situation, and then your family is split up because you have to, just because of available services.
Right, and you know, so definitely availability of you know, affordable housing is a big issue that we've been seeing increase. It's not just obviously not just a King County issue. It's not just a Snohomish County issue. It's happening all over the place. But King County and Snohomish County have been very difficult for low-income individuals to find a house that they can afford.
Wow. So do you guys provide, what services do you provide? Do you provide housing for teens? Or
We do. So we provide two emergency shelters for youth ages 12 to 17. These are for teens who get kicked out of the home, who run away from the home, or who have been chronically homeless for a longer period of time and are now ready to receive services. So they're able to stay there for 14 days. One of the biggest goals we have at those emergency shelters is to return that youth back home if at all possible. You know, we do a lot of family reconciliation services. We provide our prevention program to parents, so, you know, parenting classes, parenting support groups, parenting seminars where we teach the parents how their youth brain is developing, what traumas that youth may be experiencing outside of the home that may be contributing to traumas in the home, you know, like social media bullying, stresses in school. And we just want to make sure that the parents have all the tools that they need in order to keep that family unit together and strong. So one of our biggest goals is prevention, keeping that youth in the home and keeping them away from our shelters. And 87% of the teens that come to the Way Out seminars with their parents, we never see in our shelters, and that's what we're trying to do is avoid those teens using our emergency shelters.
It's working.
Yeah, so that's why we're trying to do that as much as possible. You know, if we're not able to return that youth back home, and that does happen often, you know, again, sometimes the parents are homeless, so there's really nowhere for us to return them to. We also operate a transitional living program where youth are able to stay up until their 18th birthday, and the average stay there is about 16 months. And we provide life skills to the youth. So anything from how to fry an egg or how to do your laundry to how to open and manage your own checkings and savings account.
Wow.
You know, we get a lot of awesome kids there that, you know, start talking at 18, I'm just going to go, I'll get a job. I want an apartment, probably like a 2-bedroom apartment in case I have any visitors. I want it close to downtown Seattle. And, you know, that's a learning opportunity for them because then we teach them, well, this is how much rent's going to be. This is how much you're going to have to probably put down a deposit. You know, they always want pets. Well, this is how much pet rent's going to be. So we try to make sure that when they leave Cocoon House, they leave with tools that they're going to be needing to become productive members of their communities and successful adults. We're trying to make sure that through our housing programs, our prevention programs, and our outreach programs, we're breaking that cycle of homelessness. We're trying to catch them young before they you know, may become chronically homeless adults that we see out in the streets.
Right.
Well, how do you identify them? Like, you know, obviously prevention is the key, But how do you identify before they get to that point?
So through our outreach program, we make a lot of contact. We also have great partnerships with almost every single high school and middle school in the county. We have other partnerships with hospitals, with Boys and Girls Clubs, with YMCA. So we get a lot of youth referred to us, but we are a youth-led organization. So we need those youth to want the services in order for us to provide them the services. But we have great case managers, great Cocoon House employees that are trained in a lot of different aspects of youth trauma to make connections with those youth. Because again, building trust and relationship with these teens who have gone through all these different traumatic experiences in their lives is very important for us to be able to is important for them to be able to trust us enough to provide services to them.
Yeah, I'm sure that's key because trust is kind of hard with kids anyway. Sometimes they're just not that trusting, but when they've been hurt or, I'm sure it takes a lot to build that.
Yeah, it really does. And like I said earlier, we're not an organization that's just reacting to the problem. We're not just working with homeless youth, but we will also want to make contact with parents and at-risk youth. Even if there's just even if the teen is not working with us directly, any parent can call our hotline, our prevention hotline, and get connected to services that they're going to be able to use to keep that youth in the home.
Wow, that's so great. Do you guys reach out to schools and stuff then to help identify kids that need help? I mean, did the schools contact you?
Yeah, so we also have 4 advocates that are basically mobile case managers. So Snohomish County is a very big county, very rural in some areas. So these 4 advocates are divided geographically throughout Snohomish County. So we have a North County, South County, East County, and a Central County advocate. These advocates go out to their area and make contact with schools, law enforcement agencies, fire departments, libraries, just to make sure that they know that if they come into contact with any youth that's in any kind of dangerous or critical situation, they can call us. And through our Safe Place program, we're actually able to go out and pick that teenager up from anywhere in Snohomish County and bring him back to one of our emergency shelters until we can return him back home. So if the youth can also call the Safe Place hotline themselves, if they just got kicked out of the home and have nowhere else to go, they can call us. If they're walking home from school and there's maybe a gang or something that's kind of picking on them or saying stuff, they can give us a call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whether it's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., somebody will answer that phone, get their location, and go and pick that youth up.
Wow, that's incredible.
That is. How much staff do you have to be able to provide that kind of 24-hour service?
We're growing very rapidly. We're trying to catch up with demand. Right now we have approximately 96 staff. All of our housing units operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we have overnight staff. They never close. So that's kind of, a lot of the staff are part-time. And we also have administrative staff that keeps the lights on and tries to raise money for the youth that we serve.
Right. That was my next question. What do you guys need? What can people do to help?
Well, obviously, as a nonprofit, funds are always
money.
Show me the money.
Yeah, we need money. That's what we need. And 77 cents to every dollar goes directly to that youth. So, providing them with drug and alcohol counseling, mental health counseling, putting shoes and socks on their feet. And the other is administrative, which, still helps because, we're keeping the lights on in these buildings. But about 60% of our funding comes from the community. The community puts on events. We just had an event at Everett High School. The teens there put on a Battle of the Talents for us.
Oh, wow.
A lot of talent in the high school. It was a fun show. But, they charge an entrance fee. They sell T-shirts. And then that money raised goes to Cocoon House. And 40% comes from state, federal, and local grants.
Wow. So money.
And we also have volunteer opportunities. Cooking meals for our sites is one. And during certain seasons, also doing some yard work for us helps quite a bit because we have one guy that's responsible for our 5 facilities.
Oh, wow.
He's busy.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy.
So you guys have any upcoming events or anything coming up this summer?
We do have one this summer. It's our first annual Pride Summer Festival. So June is National Pride Month.
Right.
So we're having an event on June 10th from 6 to 10. It's a fundraising event, but we're going to be having a DJ. We're going to be having food, drinks. It's a 21 and over event, so it's going to be really fun. and it's just going to be a celebration of the LGBTQ community. 33% of the youth that Cocoon House serves identify as LGBTQ plus. That's another reason why they become homeless is, the families aren't accepting, or sometimes the youth just feels like the families aren't going to be accepting and runs away from the home. So this event's going to be a fun one for sure. Mm-hmm. And then we also have our annual silk dinner and auction that's going to be on October 6th. Okay. And that's one of our biggest fundraisers. Fantastic.
We'll have all that information on the website. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, gosh. That's pretty amazing. So thank you guys for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back, we're going to have the Riley Johnson Team Market Update, where we're going to be discussing, what are we discussing, Mom?
We're discussing, we'll tell you when we get back. Let's surprise them.
Stay tuned. Hold your breath, because it's going to be good. To find out about any topics discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.